So it's now been exactly 2 months since I posted this Batman room tour video. After totally revamping my room, I spent 45 minutes showcasing the collection and giving a detailed look at each section. I was so desperate to get the video out before Christmas. It was technically only 90% complete at the time, with a few pieces of artwork for the wall still due to arrive. Plus, I've added a few more things to the collection over the last 2 months, so I felt it's time for a room update video. So let's get into it. So I think what I'll do is skim through the room and then of course obviously point out all the things I've added to the collection since I did the room tour video. So first up we have this Mr. Freeze snow globe, which I have done a YouTube video review on. So this is from DC Direct and it's one of my favourite pieces. I've been after this for years. I never quite managed to get it. And then I actually had this shipped from the US, but it was a really good price. So I'm glad to have that in the collection now. And then as we move over to the cabinets, apologies in advance, they do still need to be cleaned. It's so hard to keep this glass clear, but especially with this particular light and shining on it, you can really see all the little marks, but at some point I will get around to doing that. But yeah, at the top, obviously we have the Batman section. I think the only thing I've added in recent times since the room tour video would be this little medallion from Dust, I believe it was, who make a lot of prop replicas and stuff. So it's just cool. It's got the logo of the Gotham Bridge on there, and that was really cheap, so I added that. And then underneath, of course, we have the 1966 classic TV series section. I think this is all pretty much the same as the room tour video, although I have jiggled a couple of things between the shelves because I had to incorporate this Mattel Batmobile, which I did get just after the room tour video. So this is, yeah, the Mattel Batmobile, designed for the 6-inch figures. Normally goes for quite a lot of money, and I got it brand new in the box for 45 quid, which I was really chuffed about. So I've just about managed to squeeze that in there. And then underneath, of course, we have the Arkham section, which I think is pretty much the same as when I did the room tour video. But at some point, of course, we are getting the Arkham Origins Hot Toys Batman figure, so I can't wait to add that into there too. These sections are again pretty much the same as before. It's just a bit of an overspill really, so a few extra Arkham pieces, some more classic TV series bits, the old Adventures of Batman cartoon and Batmanga, the Joker movie with crammed behind. We have the Christmas Joker statue from the animated series, just because there's not really much room for that anywhere else. And then we have some Dark Knight stuff over here. This again is a new addition. I have also again done a YouTube video review on this, but exactly the same as the Batman medallion. This is a Dark Knight Joker card, also made by Dust, I believe. Very much the same, comes with a little display stand, and it is an enamelled metal card, which is pretty nice. And they can normally be picked up really cheap, so I thought that was a cool little touch to add to that section. So on top of the middle cabinet, we have a few extra Batman Forever pieces here, which is all the same apart from I did add the McFarlane Build-A-Figure bat, which you can just about see at the back there. So that's a really nice piece, and I really wanted that to, show that scene from the film, but it is rather large, so it didn't fit in the cabinet. But yeah, it looks absolutely fine up here. You can see that behind the Batman and Robin statue. So next up we have the Justice League section, which is exactly the same as it was before. So yeah, no change here. And then as it comes down, we go into Batman v Superman, and we do have a new figure here, which again I have done a YouTube video review on, but I swapped out the 1.0 Armoured Batman for the 2.0. So that is a really cool figure. It's hard to see with this glare, but got a really cool diorama base. Obviously got the Kryptonite spear sticking out of that. And yeah, I really do like this one. It's really impressive Hot Toys figure, that. So that is new in there. And then underneath we have the Batman Forever section, which again is all the same as before. And then below that, we finally have the first Hot Toys figure from Batman and Robin. So we can see here we've got the Chris O'Donnell Robin. I'm still waiting on the George Clooney Batman, but I have got that coming. So I just can't wait to get that. And of course I can get rid of this old statue, but for the time being they actually scale together perfectly. And I also did acquire this Kenner 2-back, which I've wanted for absolutely years, from my good friend Johnny Kryptonite. So when I saw him, I got this off him, as he's sort of downsizing his collection. And yeah, I mean, this is their interpretation of the ice suits. So you can see there, it's called Guardians of Gotham City. And yeah, it sort of resembles the black and silver kind of ice suits from the end of the film. So I'm just glad that this section is finally starting to take shape, as it did look rather bare before. And once again, I did do a YouTube video review of this, which you'll be able to see on my channel. In the next cabinet, we have the Flash section at the top, which is all the same as previous. And then under that, we have Batman Returns, where there are a few changes. So I've actually taken the Max Schreck figure out of the packaging just because I needed to see behind a bit better, as I've added this vintage clock from 1992 with a cool image on the front, and that's from a company called Athena. And then next to that we have again another swap out. So I actually sold the 1.0 figure to my good friend the Retro Batcave, along with the armoured Batman from BVS, and I've now acquired the 2.0. So you can see the likeness to the face here is absolutely fantastic, and I love the diorama base as well. And once again, you can see a YouTube video review of that on my channel. And then in the background, you'll notice I've got this little print of Oswald Cobblepot for Mayor, which I thought would be a fantastic bit of kind of scenery to go behind. These can be picked up really cheap off eBay. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that to set the scene a bit better. And then coming down to the next section, we have the 1989 Batman film. And the new additions in this section would be the recently released Mezco 5-point figures. So it was a bit hard to try and get these fitted in so you could still see them, but I've obviously made sure you can just about make out each one. So we've got Batman and Joker at the back there, and I just absolutely love the retro packaging on these. Obviously it's supposed to resemble the old Toy Biz original figures. And then at the side here we do have the Joker Goon, which is kind of like a 2-in-1 because you get the head for Bob and also the sword wielding Goon as well from the alleyway scene. So I love that. But yeah, it's the same as the animated series 5-point figures. Obviously they did it to resemble the old Kenner packaging. So anything like this for nostalgia, I just absolutely love. One thing I wasn't able to fit in the cabinet though was the Batmobile to accompany the figures, which is absolutely fantastic yet again. As you can see here, it even comes with the shield to protect the Batmobile. But yeah, unfortunately it just doesn't fit in the cabinet, so for now I've just popped it here alongside the Spin Master Robert Pattinson Batmobile. And then the bottom section in the cabinet is the Dark Knight Trilogy section, and there are no changes here, so yeah, all the same as before. Now I mentioned waiting on some artwork when I did the room tour video before, and this was one of them. Obviously it is a little bit blocked off by the cabinet, but this is the only place I could fit this. But I've wanted this piece for years, so that's by an artist by the name of Flory. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, obviously from the Axis Chemical scene. Sorry if it's obviously got glare from the cabinets, but hopefully you can still make this out. So yeah, it's obviously Batman swooping down to Jack Napier's men, and I just think that looks brilliant. So they do a variant of this as well, which is to look like the retro 89 trading cards, which has like a yellow and white border, but I just preferred this one without the border. I just think that looks brilliant. I also got this little piece of artwork, super cheap off Vinted, just to be able to have something from BVS on the wall as well. I just think that's a really cool idea. Obviously got a picture of Batman, and it's also got the LexCorp logo, and it says status, vigilante, and extremely volatile. I also had this random gap above the TV, which really felt like it just needed something to go above there, and I thought these were absolutely perfect. So these are the press kit photos from the 89 film. Yeah, and the size of these are just ideal, and the fact that you've got Batman and Joker together. So we've got this cool shot here of Michael Keaton's Batman, and then next to him we have the museum scene Joker after he says, "Where does he get those wonderful toys?" I've also got this as a recent addition from my good friend Johnny Kryptonite, who drew my logo, and the funny story behind this was he met me off the train at Liverpool Street when we watched Batman 89 in concert, and this was the sign he made to greet me off the train. So yeah, I really love this. It was such a neat idea, and it now lives happily on my sandbar. I think this whole 89 section here is pretty much the same as before. The one addition I have got is this cool comic which was gifted to me by the Retro Batcave, and you'll just about see on the front it was signed by Carl Newman, the Ballet Bat. So he was obviously Michael Keaton's movement double in the '89 film, and I had the pleasure of meeting him when we went to the concert, and I'm just really chuffed to have that in the collection. I have to say, this Batmobile I'm still so obsessed with. I just could look at this all day. I'm so glad to have it as like a centerpiece in the Batcave. I've wanted this for so long, and admittedly it is probably the most expensive single item I've ever bought, but it was so worth it. I have no regrets whatsoever. I just love the fact the base looks like the Batcave with the rock formation and the metal grating floor, and it really just looks so cool when I sit in here. I could literally stare at it all day. But yeah, it's definitely my favourite live action Batmobile of all time, so I just really wanted this, and like I said, no regrets at all. And this is my number 2 most expensive item I've ever bought, but again, no regrets at all. This is the Pure Arts '89 cowl, and I just love the detail on this when you look up close. The texture and everything is just fantastic. And of course, alongside that, to accompany that, we have the Bob Ringwood ID card from the '89 film, which he gave me. So I think these 3 things in particular are, you know, again, quite expensive pieces, but I just absolutely love having them as like my centerpiece to the Batcave from pretty much my favourite Batman film. Another piece of artwork which didn't arrive in time for my original room tour video is this Batman Beyond Return of the Joker movie poster. And I'm probably saying these names incorrectly, but it's signed by the producers Dan Rieber and Stan Berkowitz. So absolutely love this, and this again came from the US, so it didn't come in time for the room tour video, but yeah, just always loved that poster. And once again, I'm trying to sort of incorporate each different Batman in one way or another on the walls. These sections are once again just a bit of an overspill. They don't look the best in terms of being a bit cluttered, but it's just a place to house some extra pieces here. I think this might be a new addition since the room tour video. So this is a fun little 2-pack of Batman against Joker from the original Injustice game, because I had this statue here, but this is actually from Injustice 2. So I thought this was a cool little fun 2-pack to have from the first game. I also come across this Batman figure only last week on Vinted for £1. And I'd never ever seen it before, so I had no idea what company made it or anything. And with the power of Instagram, I posted it, and a few people responded to let me know it's actually an Italian figure from Kinder, as in Kinder Eggs. So I thought it was from the new Batman Adventures because he's got slightly shorter ears, but it turns out it is actually from the Justice League cartoon. So yeah, this is from 2009. So it's just a fun little figure which I've never ever seen before, and as I said, that is because it's Italian Kinder Egg exclusive. Another new addition since the room tour video is this cool little posed sort of figure. It's from a Japanese company, and I'm probably saying this incorrectly, but it's like Furyu or something, so it's Furyu, and this is actually what they call a noodle topper. So you know, you put it on top of your pot of noodles. But I just thought it was really cool, like being in this pose. So yeah, it's just a fun little figure. This is another new addition from Johnny Kryptonite. So another Kenner figure that I never had as a child and I've wanted for a long time. So this is the 200th edition Batman, and it's got a cool action feature. When you push down this button, he pops his wings out. So that's really cool. And admittedly, I don't have space in the cupboard for it, in the cabinet even, so that is there for now, because as you can see, the Batman Beyond section here is rather full up. But it looks okay, because I've got a few bits in the corner here, including these 12-inch Kenner dolls from TMBA, which I've always loved. Yeah, and a few other pieces. So, like I said, it looks fine there, and you can still see it clearly. But yeah, as we move up, I think all this stuff is pretty much the same as before. Again, bit of an overspill, but we've got some more Adam West Batman pieces there, and some of the retro style McFarlane animated figures. And on top of this next cabinet, we have a few McFarlane Batman Beyond things, which are, you know, same as they were previous, as was this section. So this is the Joker and Harley section from the animated series. This Diamond Select Legends in 3D bust is probably one of my absolute favourite pieces in the whole collection, as is this Batman underneath from the same line. So yeah, I think those two in particular are definitely up there with my favourite things of all time. But again, this section all pretty much the same as before. So we have some animated series stuff here. And these are the Mezco 5-point figures I was talking about, which you can see with the retro style packaging. So absolutely love those. And I've got my original combat belt Batman in the middle. So, and then the Batman Beyond section at the bottom. So I think all this animated section is pretty similar to before. I have managed to pre-order the Mondo Superman animated series figure, which I'm looking forward to. And I love the piece that he comes with, the Lois Lane, so it looks like he's sort of rescuing her. So I can't wait for that. Obviously got all the animated series figures underneath here. Again, all same as before. This Justice League section, I have added a couple of Superman villains. I've got Darkseid, Brainiac, Metallo and Lex Luthor. I thought they'd fit nicely into here, seeing as they all feature on the Justice League cartoon as well. And then underneath that we have the Batman section, which again, all the same as before. And then my last piece of artwork I've added is this movie poster from Batman and Robin. I just love the idea of this one, the fact that it's got the heroes and villains on both together. So that was just a cheap replica print off eBay, but I just thought that'd be cool to put on the back of the door. And as I said earlier, I've sort of tried to do it so I've got at least one thing from each live action Batman. So obviously got George Clooney, Christian Bale, obviously animated, Batman Forever, Batman Returns, 66, and then 89, BVS, Batman Beyond, TMBA, and the Batman. I've also added this, which is the SSR Justice figure, which is supposed to be the Alex Ross Batman, but it's obviously like an unlicensed figure. It's absolutely brilliant, but it is only here really on the coffee table temporarily, as it doesn't really fit in the room being sort of comic book. But as I explained in a previous room tour video, I am in the process of doing a room upstairs, which is going to be our sort of little library. And my plan was, in front of the books, like graphic novels and stuff, I was going to have a few comic book related statues. So this will eventually go up there, and I'll end up doing a separate, you know, little mini room tour video for that room once it's done. Probably sort of April time, I would imagine. So the coffee table in the middle, I kind of used to store like reading material that I'm sort of still yet to read. And another thing I've recently managed to get, I've basically been watching through the entire Justice League animated series and JLU as well. And I've managed to get the entire collection of Justice League comics. So we have Justice League Adventures. Obviously these are the ones I've read so far, and I've got all these ones to go. And once they're done, we then have Justice League Unlimited. So there's another like 40 odd of those as well to read. So that'll keep me going for a while, I think. So there we have it. That's the room update done. Once I've completed the book room I was talking about in a couple of months' time, enough time would have passed by then to perhaps do another update video of any additions to this room, as well as showing off the new Bat Library. As always, I appreciate anyone that takes the time to watch my videos, so thanks again, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't already.